Rev up your engine! People are always asking about small or mid-sized pickup trucks. Well, here's an '07 Ford Ranger, and I'll show you how it held up over time. Still owned by the original owner. Now, if you know anything about Ford, you say, oh, their paint jobs are crappy. Oh yeah? This is the original paint job, and it lives in Connecticut, where it snows and they put salt on the road. Now, the owner's no fool. When he bought it new, he coated all kinds of the bottom. And look, no rust. He did a really good job of it. Like I've been telling people for years, if you got an old truck that's rusted, don't waste your time. Like Neil Young sings, rust never sleeps. You put coating, you'll just coat the rust and it will continue to rust underneath. He did it on a brand new truck, and look at it. It didn't rust, but I do have to say, look at the paint. He didn't do anything to the paint. He didn't put coating on that. They were just well-painted trucks. This thing is pushing 15 years old. I mean, look at it. It's in immaculate shape. They knew how to paint those things. And it still has the original wheels. These are Alcoa, the aluminum people. You know your aluminum wrap, Alcoa? Forged wheels. It's amazing that they're still in that kind of shape living in Connecticut. And to top it all off, he uses it as a snowplow in the winter. So this thing gets abused. Now this has got a 4-liter single overhead cam engine in it. These engines are extremely dependable. Nothing like the modern V6 EcoBoost with GDI fuel injection and turbocharging that just wears them out before their time. This thing will go inside, put it in neutral, start it up. Starts right up. It's got 117,000 miles on it. And listen to that baby purr. This engine has a lot of life left in it. And you can do the 4-wheel drive system if you want. That's the 5-speed tranny. Then you got 2 high, 4 high, and 4 low. You can play around with all that stuff. And they all still work. Like I say, he uses it as a snowplow. So it's actually making him money instead of costing him money. Now it's a Ranger, so it's old school. There's no back seat. It ends right there. But it's got a nice, deep bed. He added the Lear camper top. As you can see, look at the space inside here. There is a lot of room, and they're really handy because he can carry everything and it's not going to get wet or snowed on. Unlike GM, look at it. Clean as a whistle. It's not all rusted and broken. Everything's still solid. Try that in a GM that's this old. No, this is a 4x4. Once he said he got 20 miles a gallon on the highway. Normally gets about 18. But you expect that with a truck. It is a real truck. It's not an imitation truck. And he has 410 gears. If he went to 373, he could probably get a little bit better gas mileage. But he likes it the way it is because, like I said, he uses it as a snowplow. That snow is relatively heavy when you're pushing bunches of it around. Now, the 4-wheel drive's gotten him out of problems. He doesn't take it off-road, really. It's not really an off-road vehicle. You could if you had to, but he has common sense. Look at the shape this thing is in, as old as it is. I'm still amazed by the paint myself. Now, he's done a few mods. This is stainless steel that he did when he got it. And so is this. He used RTV and screws. He did a pretty good job. Considering how old it is, I don't see any rust coming out anywhere. He knew what he was doing. You want to mod things, go right ahead, but do it right. If you do a half-assed job, then rust comes out of it. You do it right, look at this. 14, 15 years later, it still looks like a new truck. So let's take it for a spin. Okay, 117,000 miles. This baby's got the original clutch in it. It's still smooth as can be. No slippage. No, he has changed the shocks, but only once. You can't argue that for this period of time he's been driving it, because it really rides nice. So I had to do the ball joints in the front. Typical what you'd expect of a vehicle of this age. It's no big deal. They just bolt on and off. Now it's a heavy truck, but let's give it a little gas here and see what it can do. Not bad, really. Now, granted, this guy takes great care of his vehicles because almost every time I get one of these older ones, they stink oil because the engines are seeping oil, but he's taking care of all the gaskets and everything on it because it's not seeping any oil at all. And he changes the oil 5,000, 7,000 miles. He uses full synthetic oil. Doesn't burn a drop of oil. He's single overhead cam V6 engines before they started putting gasoline direct injection and throwing turbochargers on them. They're overbuilt engines. You keep them stock like he did, they can virtually run forever. We have one big downfall, and that's their automatic transmissions. They're weak. But he's got nothing to worry about because it's a 5-speed standard transmission. And like I said, he still has the original clutch in it, and he snow plows with it. People said you shouldn't snow plow with a standard transmission to him. You'll burn the clutch out. Well, this is an 07 and it's still on the original clutch. So much for that myth. Because if it would have been an automatic transmission, I guarantee you it would have had to been rebuilt by now. Pushing snow plows with this. All the traction you're getting with 4-wheel drive pushing the snowplow. With the standard, he's had no problems at all. And truth be told, it looks so good because he did add the plastic fake chrome. That came with a higher end, so he added that himself. But the Ranger XLT is still there, and it's still really shiny. Of course, that's plastic too. But the rest of the vehicle is solid steel. Of course, the top from the camper top, that's made out of fiberglass, but that's a Lear anyways. He added that himself. So if you wanted to know about mid-size pickup trucks, now you know more about Ford Rangers. How they used to really make them well. Now they've been surpassed by the Toyota Tacomas. They sell 2 to 3 times as many Tacomas nowadays than they do Rangers. Toyota ate them up. But back in the day, these were solid built trucks that can take it. You can find a good one like this. I'm shocked that a Connecticut daily driver is so pristine without rust on it. But hey, you learn something every day. And if you think you can't modernize an old car, ha, look at this. Check it out. He's hooked a wireless charger up here for his phone. Hooked it up to the button here. Everything's hidden inside. You can modernize things as much as you want. They say you can't teach an old dog new tricks. Well, you can if it's a smart dog. And in this case, a well-built truck. Hey, there's plenty of stuff you can do to it if you want. Why buy a truck that has all that crap on it for $50,000, $60,000, $70,000? Get something like this and fix it up yourself. And here's some bonus questions and answers. Best Lap PSN says, Scotty, have you ever worked on DeLoreans? And if so, where did it work on? How reliable they were? But they're kind of a pain in the butt to work on. Because realize John DeLorean, he snorted a little bit too much in his time and came up with that idea. And what do you expect from the 80s, you know? The car was just a disaster area mishmash of this and that. They had Swedish Volvo V6 engines, but a lot of them had French transmissions. They were put together in England, and they were heavy, but they didn't have that much horsepower. And like I said, working on them, the original ones didn't even have windows you could roll down. So if the AC broke, you were screwed. They were a massive failure. The only reason they became popular is because Back to the Future, and people want to pretend they're in Back to the Future, and some guys even make their vehicles look just like it. They actually are pretty junky cars. If you've ever driven one, they're not that fast. They don't handle all that well. They're a heavy vehicle. They don't impress me at all. And they made them stainless steel. And the point was, if you made them out of good stainless steel, you'd never have to paint them because they didn't rust. Well, some of them, they used such cheap stainless steel that they rusted anyway. They didn't put enough nickel in. So then you either got to keep buffing them and polishing them or paint them. I've seen many of them, they gave up and just painted the car. Pretty much a failure all the way around here. Sneeko says, is undercoating a new car worth it for rust protection? Which is best, rubber, tar, or oil undercoating? All right, depends on what you buy. Take Toyotas. They have the whole frame and body and stuff go into this immersed pond that has electrostatic paint. The paint is one positive or negative, and the body is the other positive or negative. I forget which is which. What does it matter? I don't do it. I just know how it works. And then the zinc-based primer not only does all the outside, but it gets inside the frame where the holes are, and it coats the inside of the frame. They actually don't need any coating at all. My mother's got a 97 Toyota Corolla, and it doesn't even rust in Buffalo, New York. So, you know, the modern cars, if you buy the right ones, they won't rust. Now, take Fiat, stuff like that, yeah, they'll rust like mad. In those cases, I would advise doing a tire undercoating. Those are the best. But do a little research. Find cars like Toyota, they're built right, and buy them. You don't have to do anything about it, other than if you live in a real salty area. It's a good idea to rinse them off at least once a week to get all the salt off. The 11501 says, I bought a 2003 diesel F-250, 182K. Is it a dog? No, it's a car. Actually, it's a truck. Now, if it was taken care of, some of those diesels can go a long way. Now, I've seen those engines easily go 500,000-600,000 miles. The weak point in those vehicles are the automatic transmissions. The automatic transmissions are relatively weak, but even that said, the ones that I had customers with, they generally go 165 to 240,000 before they broke, and then they'd put a factory remanufactured one in and drive it some more. So they can be excellent trucks. Of course, you didn't see how many miles. If it's got 500-something thousand miles, it's probably ready to fall apart, but they are well made. They can last quite some time. So if you never want to miss another one of my new car repair videos, remember to ring that bell.